4 months ago, I spent 100 days farming melons in Minecraft, desperately trying to harvest 1 million before time ran out. But I fell short by 9,000, an amount that would have taken 4 more minutes. But today, I redeemed myself by farming not 1, but 10 million!
I can do better. It all started months ago. I could have just studied for my next exam, but if Hypixel Studio taught me anything, it's that you can always delay your responsibilities. So I opened up my computer, went to YouTube as usual, and stumbled across what I now know was the video that single-handedly ruined my summer. Rekrap's attempt at farming 10 million melons in 100 days. After watching it, there are 2 types of questions that might come up. Why would anyone do that willingly? Why would you do that? Or second one, I should do that on Hypixel with a stupidly high number like 500 million. And so I actually started to plan this out. I was extremely serious about it. I wasn't farming for fun or for money. I was farming for the glory, for the memes. Now, the only difference between me and rekrap, besides our subscriber count, is that Hypixel Skyblock is not regular Minecraft. The 2 main differences are that number 1, we have stats similar to an RPG. And to be fair, almost every single one of them is completely useless for me, besides farming fortune. Farming fortune is an attribute that works basically like fortune on a pickaxe. The higher the number is, the better the odds of dropping multiple crops. At 100 farming fortune, you have basically a 100% chance of dropping double the crop. At 200, you have a 100% chance of dropping 3 times, and so on. Number 2, there are no shitty ass nostalgic video about how it was better before. Because it was never better. Another very important step in this challenge are minions. Minions are like your regular automated farm, enhanced by child slavery. They are 24/7 and farm a small amount of items each day. Oh yeah, and they can also be upgraded. How much do they get? Never ask those type of questions here at Hypixel. You can have up to 24 minions in your island. To unlock more minions, you need to get a bigger slave collection and... Okay, now that I say it out loud, it's kinda messed up, but regardless, I began farming all the items necessary for unlocking more slots. Now, I wanted to start with the 3 minions from the foraging collection, since I hadn't unlocked any of them, and I thought it would be easier to max them out. Unfortunately, for each minion level up, the amount of resources required exponentially grows. Now, I'm not a mathematician, in fact, I am a dumbass, but that's a lot of materials. Fortunately, you can boost the amount of items you farm with bats and better tools. And so 15 hours of farming and 28 million coins per it later, I maxed out all the 3 minions. And that got me to unlock the 15th minion slot. And soon after, I began maxing out all the crops minions as well, such as potatoes, carrots, cannabis, and all the good stuff. But suddenly, on day number 5, an unexpected thought crossed my mind. Wait, I should actually start farming melons. But, just like a professional Reddit mod buying all the new Gamer Subs anime cups, I needed the right equipment for the job. So I laid my eyes on the melon armor. The melon armor is the first tier of farming equipment that allows you to increase your farming fortune by a lot. But each tier upgrade needs a set amount of specific materials obtained through, you guessed it, farming crops. Unfortunately, the melon armor requires so many melons to craft that even after farming my first 1 million melons, it was still faster just to buy it out than to farm and craft it alone. And so after a measly 10 million coins, all I had at the time, I finally acquired the melon armor, which gives almost 100 farming fortune alone. For the next year, the croupy armor, I had to farm carrot, wheat and potatoes. And with the full set of melon armor, you have a 0.05% chance of dropping 1 from each harvested crop. But we will get to that later. Another very important piece to the puzzle was the tool that I would go on to use for the rest of the challenge. The Melon Dicer. The Melon Dicer is an ordinary axe. It gives you bonus farming XP when farming melons, and farming XP levels up your farming skill, and each level gives you a bonus 4 farming fortune. Now that might not sound like a lot, but you can get up to level 50, so it's quite important to level up that skill. And I mean, it's not like it requires literally hundreds of hours to do that. Now, to get the Melon Dicer, you either grind a lot of farming contents, like a true Chad, farming countless hours every day, in hope that one day you will pass all of your peers in a race for meaningless numbers, or you could just, buy it from the auction house for a couple of millions. Okay, if you thought that all of that was extremely complex and unnecessary just to farm virtual crops on a video game, okay, well, it's because it is, but don't worry, it gets a lot worse. July was now coming, and in 15 days, I was already behind something like 70 million melons, almost as high as my gambling app. but I had unlocked 18 minion slot, and so I started crafting the melon minions. Okay, but why do they have to look like babies? Never thought Hypixel would bring in the Temu update. You see, I did the math and found out that at this point farming melons was already so efficient that it was better to farm them and to buy the materials for all the other minions instead of farming the other crops or ores myself. Also, now it was possible for me to upgrade the melon dicer to its next levels. You see, the melon dicer is a built-in lottery system that has a small chance of giving you a lot of melons every time you break one. The best tier can give you up to 400,000 melons with a single chop, and the odds are 1 in 100,000, though this shouldn't stop you from keep gambling. Fortunately, it costs only 12 million to upgrade the melon dicer to its max level. Oh, did I also mention that I need 30 million coins in order to get all of the best enchantments for the axe? Yeah, thank god I won't need to worry anymore about my axe for the rest of the challenge. Wait, no, not again! So now I needed a lot of coins, and there is only one place better than OnlyFans to make a quick buck. The garden. The garden is an amazing place for all the young aspiring farmers of the world, giving you optional farming fortune upgrades as well as a land safe from British colonialism. It also has a queue of clients that request crops in exchange for copper, a special currency used in the garden that gives you access for a lot of those upgrades and the enchantment I bought for millions of coins just seconds ago. With my farming fortune now at 400, I was starting to make some steady progress to my quest of farming 500 million melons. Every morning, I would just get up, chug a protein shake, chop some melons, sell everything to upgrade minions, and go back to sleep. With all the money I got from selling minion organs, I meant melons, I unlocked the 20th minion slot, and so I could finally start to optimize my minions. My first step was crafting the farming crystal, an item that when played creates an 8 block long sphere, you heard that right, sphere, the sort of thing Minecraft is famous for. Listen, I get that you hate us Hypixel, but why not a cube? Why? Where all the minions have a 10% speed boost, and in order to fit all of my minions I had to build a melon sphere with 4 floors of intense sweaty for this production. Now, there are still some upgrades available for the minions which are borderline insane. Let me give you an example. So you can actually upgrade your max level 11 minions to level 12 by going to the desert and talk to a specific NPC that upgrades them for only 1.6 million melons and 76 bells each. Bells are another rare currency obtained by completing Trevor's stack of hunting down specific mobs, with each of them having a specific rarity that gives them different health and effects like invisibility or blindness. Trevor is an NPC situated in a remote cave in a desert island, and he rewards you with 4 bells per mission, and each of them requires like 2 to 3 minions to complete. Oh, they also have to mention that I need to do this for each minion, not every them, each minion, and I have to do 20 of them. And you thought it was convoluted before, but thank god that all of this information is in a fantastic tutorial at the start. Yeah, I was simply more efficient just to farm them by hand. It ain't much, but it's an honest job. Now at this point it was crystal clear for me that obtaining the 24th minion slot would simply be inefficient. But I still wanted to get at least another minion, and to do that I had to unlock the nether by reaching level 24 in the combat skill. Fortunately, it only took like 10 hours of mindlessly killing Enderman in the end. Welcome to Skyblock. But after this final upgrade, I had finally completed all the essentials for my melon minions. And as the day kicked in, I was at 10 million melons farmed, but thanks to all the preparation, I was now able to farm by hand around 1.2 million melons per hour. But remember, this is an exponential growth. The more I farm, the better the equipment I can buy, so that I can farm even more. And in the first few days, I was actually making good progress. I started crafting the Croupy armor, the upgraded version of the melon one. I upgraded my melon dicer to the 3rd level, and even bought the Lotto set that gives you another 30-ish farming fortune for around 1000 copper. So after another couple of hours farming melons, on day 28 I actually reached 40 million melons. Yeah, I know, almost 100 million behind, but it's still progress, alright? In the meantime, I also tried to get 20 minion expander, which expands the area of the minions from a 5x5 to a 7x7 and gives another 10% buff to speed. But with that, they didn't fit in the melon sphere, and I thought at this point it was so expensive that I preferred postpone that upgrade. Spoiler alert, I didn't make it, and it just wasn't efficient, okay? Also, there are the fly catchers that increase your minion productivity by a whopping 20%, and they only cost like 20 million each. Okay, so guys, I have a good news and I have a bad one. The good one is I can farm color pixel more efficiently. The bad one is that the Senate won't approve the increase of the federal debt. By day 30th, I was at farming level 33, and I actually completed the Croupy armor, which bear in mind is only a rare one, and it goes up to mythical. And it only took around 20 hours of grinding crops. Welcome to Skyblock. I also found out that making the squash armor would take about 3 times the amount of time to farm. So I would be better off farming till level farming 40, unlocking the fermento armor, and buy it outright from the auction for like 80 million coins? At this point in time, I bought almost every single upgrade possible from the garden shop, grinding the level 100 legendary elephant pet, which is extremely expensive even at level 1, but gives you an additional 240 farming fortune if equipped with a green bandana, and bought all the max level enchantments for my melon dicer. You see, in regular Minecraft you can have enchants up to level 5, but in Hypixel inflation affects everything. There are some books that surpass the normal max level, giving you the slightest boost to your stats and only cost like 3 times as much. Going back to the garden upgrades, I also spent some time making compost that allows you to basically buy more land on the garden, giving you 3 farming fortune per plot, but in the long run that adds up. And with all of that free space, I started to explore more efficient ways to farm melons. Surely I could just increase the amount of farming fortune, but using the idea of Frederick Taylor, I understood that I could also increase the amount of melons chopped by a significant amount, by calculating at which angles the latency from lag wouldn't affect my farming. Anyway, that's the logical reason for why I spent 2 hours constructing a super melon farm with the help of some tutorials and my own little tweaks. And let me just say that this farm right here was probably the sole thing that saved this entire challenge. At this point, the remaining upgrades were starting to become comically insane. For example, buying cultivation, an enchantment that costs 10 million coins and that gives you 20 more farming fortune, but after you farm 100 million crop with the object you applied it to. Another thing I did was spamming gold potion and cookie boosters, which cost over 12 million coins but they temporarily double your farming XP. But anyway, back to farming. You know, calculus doesn't seem that boring now. You know, I could have probably found the cure for cancer with all this free time, but farming melons is just better. With the mega farm, my productivity increased so much that I quickly reached level 40 in farming, and I bought the full fermento set, which gives another like 200 farming fortune. But on day 42, something happened that could have honestly cost me the challenge, and I was frantically checking for the 15th time all my chests because my newly perfect axe, which I recombobulated the day prior, which cost 8 million coins, had completely disappeared from my inventory. And before any of you said, Soma, you could have just dropped it yourself. No, Hypixel has a built-in mod that makes it really hard to drop items. And also my drop key is P. You know how far that is? Of course not, nobody uses that key. It's so far that it's more likely that Watchdog actually bans someone in Skywars than to see me accidentally press that key. It's of course a conspiracy from the admins. They don't want us to enjoy playing this game. But Soma, it's not fair to blame the admins for this. And today I say shut the fuck up. Anyway, after another mortgage, 1 day spent crying, and another 50 million coins down the drain that made me go bankrupt, I quickly brought everything back and was now back on track. I even applied The Art of War, a special book that cost a couple of millions, made in honor of Techno, and now that I mention it, you are legally obliged to subscribe. As I said before, the last upgrades were kinda mental, but I was around 900 farming fortune, and I wanted to get at least 1k. So I did what any self-respecting human would do, which is to stare down at a Lego figure, farming melons with an axe for hours every day to buy 4 overgrown grass. Reforged stones that, when applied to your armor, give you an additional 25 farming fortune per piece. Their cost only 45 million coins. At this point, I was so efficient at farming melons that I started getting decent placement in contests without even realizing. Remember earlier when I said more on contests later? This is later now. Contests are basically competition where the biggest losers on Hypixel try to get validation by farming more virtual crop than the others. Of course, hearing that, I wanted the gold medal, obtained only by the top 10% farmers. And you would think that with thousands if not hundreds of hours already sunk in, that I would easily be in the top 10. Wrong! I was barely scraping silver medals in my first tries and my ego demands a gold shiny medal. In order to achieve this, I learned I was missing 2 crucial things. A 200 farming fortune boost obtained by sacrificing small creatures found in the garden, called pests. Hypixel, why does killing small animals the only solution here? If I wanted to farm more melons, I'd have to go mining. But wait, Soma, that's the wrong primary sector activity. But you see, by mining, you unlock what are called gemstone. If you don't know how gemstone works, you basically... Bam! Plus 24 farming fortune, and it only took 20 hours. Say with me, welcome to Hypixel. Unfortunately, good gemstones cost millions of coins, which if you remember, we just spent all of them for the grassy reforge, and so I couldn't really buy the best ones, and I didn't want to spend 20 million coins for 2 more farming fortune. Unfortunately for me, the next week me and my family had to go on vacation, but I still decided to count this week in the challenge because it really didn't feel right not to do so. Plus, I bring my laptop with me, so I farm here and there. Fast forward a week later, when I came back and looked for what upgrades were left, I realized that I had basically done all the reasonable upgrades, and the only ones were left were absolute madness. For example, I started buying the green thumb enchantments that gives you a bonus 0.05 farming fortune for each unique visitors you get. At level 4, this gives you 0.25 farming fortune per unique visitor. Now, there are 78 unique visitors, and after all these days I only got 50 of them. So at level 4, it's actually a decent increase until you realize that each book costs 120 million coins. Who is the psychopath who thought this could be a good idea? Oh, I forgot that you also have to buy them for a very cheap and understandable 1500 copper. Now, to be honest, this probably didn't make that much of a difference at all, because the higher the farming fortune, the lower the contribution, because it's not a linear grow.
Boring, shut up, nerd.
But we reached 1k farming fortune, so it's good nonetheless. On day 69,
Nice.
I even got a platinum medal accidentally. In fact, I discovered that if you get in the top 3% and 1%, you get the platinum and diamond medals. So I can now finally reach the epitome of YouTube and make a thumbnail on how I accidentally won a Minecraft tournament. I had done it. I have finally done it. I reached the farming fortune levels I wanted to achieve, and it was now time to grind. Until on day 92, I checked my melon count. Nice. Wow, I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I make poorer decisions than Microsoft.